Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our grade 6 coding class for today, 22nd July 2020. And I hope you all had a wonderful evening and that you guys are ready for the day. It's a nice day here where I am. So I hope that where you are, you guys are also experiencing a beautiful day today. Today, we are going to continue with our while loops, with our conditionals, with while loops with the farmer. So yesterday we started with that. So today we're just going to continue. Even if we finish with this lesson today, we'll move over to a new one. But I did want us to get as much practice as possible. And I just do want to mention is especially for the assessment. I have mentioned it to you before. It's not a formal assessment, it's an informal assessment. And it's just what we've done with the coding, because it works a little bit differently than the other subjects. We've selected a couple of puzzles that we've done throughout this term so far that focus on some of the aspects, debugging, while loops, conditionals, functions, those kind of things. And we just want you to apply what you've learned. So it's really very easy. So there's nothing to worry about the assessment on the coding side. I'm sure you guys will all do a great job. So guys, let's quickly get going. I'm just going to run through what while loops are. If anybody else joins us today or on YouTube, we would just want to welcome you. And I don't even think I mentioned my name. So for those of you that don't know me yet and joining us for the first time in class or on YouTube, my name is Mike Geldenes. And I'm sure we're going to have fun again today. Yes, and I see we have someone saying that there aren't many people here today. So yes, I think some of the students did mention yesterday that they will be going back to school today. And I do know some schools alternate between the days that they have to go to school. So they only go to school every second day because the classes are too big. So everybody can't go at the same time. So you only go every second day. And then the other day, the other half of the class goes. So 1 week you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then the next week you only go Tuesday, Thursday. So it is a little strange, and it is a strange time we are living in. But at least the other times we can come online and we still have the opportunity to learn. So that's great. Okay, guys, so our objectives is to distinguish between loops that repeat a number of times and loops that repeat as long as a condition is true. And that is what we do with the while loop. So our program will run not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times if we assign a number, but it will run while a certain condition is true. So as long as it's true, then that code will run. Okay, and only once that condition is no longer true, it will stop. And Tembakazi said that now you have to do everything again because you closed it accidentally. Don't worry, Tembakazi, it is once I share the link, you will be able to start where we are. So you don't have to do everything to catch up to where we are. If I share the link, you can go to that puzzle straight away. So don't worry about that. Our second objective is to use a while loop to create programs that can solve problems with unknown values. Okay, and that's what I said. While there's a condition that is met, even if we don't know the value, our code will run. So that's it's a nice loop to to be able to use, especially if we have unknown values. Okay, guys, so let's just refresh our minds with some vocabulary. I just like putting it in so we can really, so that they can really get stuck in our minds and remember the things that we learn best are the things that we do over and over again. So if you guys hear this, if you've heard this more than once, I'm sure you're probably dreaming about it by now and it's stuck in your mind, then I have accomplished exactly what I want. So coding or programming is, what is that? It is the process of creating instructions for computers using programming language. And as I've mentioned before, the programming language that we are using here, it's called Blockly. And then sequencing. Sequencing is the process of combining things in a particular order. Okay, so if we, to just make sure that our code runs smoothly and that we don't experience any problems, so we have to make sure that everything is nicely in a particular order. And then condition, what is a condition? A condition is a statement that a program checks to see if it is true or false. Okay, if true, an action is taken, otherwise the action is ignored. Okay, a loop, and we've dealt with loops for a while now, so loops are pretty easy, but we just have to remember that we get a whole bunch of different loops. So just a normal loop, what is it? It is the action of doing something over and over again. But then the particular loop that we are focusing on today, again, is a while loop. And a while loop is a loop that continues to repeat while a condition is true. So I'm sure you guys know what that is. So what we will do is let us quickly look at our purpose. Why are we working with while loops? So when we come across problems where a command needs to be repeated, but it is unknown how many times it needs to be repeated. While loops are loops that continue to repeat commands while a condition is met. Okay, so that is why and then that is what our while loop or our while block looks like. And then in this case, while there is a pile, do what? Maybe we can remove, or if there's a hole, fill. Those are the ones that we've dealt with yesterday, a pile and a hole. So we'll be looking at those again today. A while condition block, the code in a while condition block runs while a condition is true, and it will continue performing the command until it is no longer true. Okay, and I told some of you guys yesterday about the apple tree. So while there are apples in the tree, you will pick them. As soon as there are no more apples, then only will you move on to the next tree. That's a nice, simple example I like using, because I'm sure everybody has been in an apple tree before, just climbing around. I know I used to climb around apple trees quite a lot when I was younger. So let's go to code.org and let's get coding. So let me quickly go over to my other screen so you guys can see what I see. Let's share that. Okay, there we go. There's mine. Let me quickly copy the link. Yesterday, we did work on this puzzle number 10, and maybe you guys can quickly give me an idea of how are we going to fill it. Remember, look at this. Jocelyn is in, great. We have different values at all the holes. Down here we have one, here we have one, it's a nice small one. These, we have no idea. They seem quite big, and it's probably going to take It's going to take some shovelfuls of dirt to actually fill them. So Tembakazi is in. So what are we going to do? Remember our first step, break down our code. So who can quickly help me? We did this one yesterday, but I quickly want to review this one because it is there's quite a lot of code involved in this one. So it is a nice example to use. What will our first step be? Remember, we go block for block. Our first step, always we look at, even if we just go block for block and we see where things repeat themselves, okay? So here we are going to move forward. We'll move forward and then we are going to start filling that hole. And remember, if what we are dealing with, I just want to make my screen a little smaller so I can see more of the code. I like seeing more of the code that I don't have to scroll up and down the whole time. There we go. Okay, so there we go. There's what we have in our toolbox. Our toolbox, we have move forward, turn right, turn left, remove, fill, our standard loop, a repeat block. Then we have a while path ahead. And we have while there is a loop, while there is a hole, do fill. And yes, it is so early. Welcome, Kia. Welcome. I will share the link again quickly just so that you can get in as well. Okay. Move forward. Now, remember, what we're going to do now is we are going to fill this hole. We don't know how many shovels it's going to take to fill it. So we can't just say fill. We go and see our toolbox. While there is a hole, it's our conditional that we've dealt with yesterday. Then we will fill. And we can check if this works. So we can run our code. Sometimes when my fingers are cold, it doesn't want to, there we go. There we go, while there's a hole full, but now luckily it was only one. I want to reset and just see if there are more that you can see because now there is one here, so it would have worked. Now there's a 3, there we go, so that works. Now the only thing that we have to remember, if we're going to move forward, move all the way around, it is going to take quite a while. So if we look at our toolbox, which block is going to help us move as far as we want without actually repeating. So we could use a repeat, but then we're going to have to use a repeat every time we turn because each distance is different, okay? But yesterday, I think we dealt with this block for the first time. While there is a path, move forward. So as long as there's a path for our farmer to move along, then our farmer will move forward. There we go, Jocelyn, thank you. Yes, while path ahead, move. What do we do? Move forward. Okay, and then once we get there, we've got these two down. We've got while path ahead, and then while there's a hole, to fill, and then we just need to turn. Turn right. Now we've only got 6 blocks here. We can always reset and run to see if it works. Let's see. That works. Turns. And then what are we going to do? Up until that point, it works. It works perfectly. Now we just have to repeat everything. So we have to repeat everything because we've got that while path ahead, move forward. While there's a hole full, turn right. And if we look at our puzzle, I spotted down here, I'm going to turn right down here. But otherwise, if you didn't spot that and you started coding again, is it okay, while path ahead, what am I going to do? Move forward, and then there's a hole. So while there's a hole, I'm going to fill the hole. And then once I get down here, what am I going to do? I'm going to turn right. Then, okay, then I might have seen. Look at this, guys. That's the same. Okay, so I know that my code will repeat at least 2 times. If I still didn't spot and I still kept on, I would have seen that I was going to use the same blocks over and over again. I'm going to use again. While path ahead, move forward. While there's a hole, fill the hole. So I can see, okay, this is going to be the same over and over and over again. I can take that out and I can put everything I've got in a repeat. And now I just have to figure out how many times I'm going to repeat my code. And then if, let's say something else did change, I can repeat it. And then remember, when you run, you reset and run. And then once you get to a problem, then you fix it. Okay, so yes. And Kia said, use a repeat block. And I'm going to do that. And let's count how many times. 1, 2 holes, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's repeat that 6 times. And let's run. And then you can see the little farmer has got almost like she's scanning to see if she can move forward. And once she can't move forward anymore, she turns right. Five. One more. There we go. We've turned right all the way. Perfect. There we go. All the way through, and we've completed our challenge puzzle. Okay, guys, so I think yesterday I might have even given this next one to you, some of you, as a, those of you that were here, as a, no, it couldn't have been this one. This one is too easy. I might have given that previous one to you as a challenge, as a homework challenge. And I really want to encourage you guys, if I give you those challenges, please send them to me. I really want to share them with everybody. And I really want to see if you guys are managing and if you are able to solve these on your own. If not, then I can see where I need to spend some more time with you guys and what we need to work on. Because Code.org just follows lesson by lesson. If I don't see what you guys do, I might not know if you guys struggle with something. So I really want to encourage you guys to let me know, email me, say, sir, I don't understand while loops that well. And then because we can start any lesson over, we can always go back and work on that again. Because it is important for me, yes, we like playing and solving the puzzles, and we want to do as many as possible. But later on, if we don't really understand the concepts, then it might get a little difficult. So for me, it's very important for us, even if we have to go back a little bit and we have to repeat something, it's better because then at least I know that the next time we get to something, we will be able to do it. Okay, guys, so here, instead of filling the holes, we have to remove the piles. So I think this will be a very similar puzzle to what we've just had. So, and I see we've got somebody with the needs the link. I just quickly want to copy that. There we go. Okay, guys, so who can tell me? I'm going to let you guys help me solve this one. Flatten all these piles using as few blocks as possible. As few blocks as possible. So what will be our first step, guys? I'm going to let you do this one. So let's see what you guys can come up with. And I have a first one from Kia. And Kia said, while path ahead, block. Okay, so here I go. Yes, while path ahead. I'm going to do what you, and what am I going to do while path ahead? What am I going to do while path ahead? Move forward. There we go. While path ahead, I am going to move forward. That means I'm going to, and remember, you guys can run it or you can step by step to follow your progress along the puzzle. There we go. While path ahead, move forward, and that would put me right over there. So what would our next step be? And really, guys, this is very important. I know I've stated this many times before. Run your code. Don't be scared to run your code, because sometimes, especially if it gets quite long, you kind of get lost to where you currently are. So run it and follow your character to see, okay, this is where I am right now. Let's do something. So I've got Kia said remove, and Jocelyn said turn left. Okay, so yes, we have a value. If we look down at the pile, we see there is a value. So we don't have to use a loop because we only need to remove it once. And if we put in a loop and remove, then we won't follow their instructions, because the instructions will flatten all these piles using as few blocks as possible. And if we put in an extra loop that is not necessary, then we will use one extra block. So, but because we have the value, we know we're only going to remove one. Remove one. We don't need a loop for that. So and I just quickly want to see, there are so many comments coming in. I love it when you guys interact. Then we've got to turn left. And I think it was Jocelyn that said turn left first. There we go, turn left. And then I've got Bless just joined in. So let's quickly share the link with Bless. And then Kia also told me what we're going to do next is while path ahead, move forward. Okay, so here we go. While path ahead, move forward. While path ahead, move forward. Okay, guys, so let's run our code. Let's see where we are currently. And then Kia said, then remove. But remember, we're trying to use as few blocks as possible. So look at that. There we go. Great. So our code works perfectly. And Kia said remove. But what do we notice? What are we going to do? Let's quickly just decide. What are we going to do when we get to the end? We are going to turn left. And yes, Kia said we've used too many. But let's look at our code. What do we notice? I'm going to take that. There we go. And Jocelyn said we need to repeat. Wow, we've got so many students joining us now. Everybody slept a little late this morning. Let me share the link again, because every time somebody new joins, they don't have the link. So there we go. Yes, guys. So Jocelyn and Kia said we're going to repeat. It's the same thing. We will put everything inside. And what do we call it when we put one loop within another loop? Let me ask you guys a little quiz question. What do we call it when we put one loop inside another loop? Let's see. What do we call it when while I reset, I'm going to wait for that answer. What do we call it when we put one loop inside another loop? Ndovo, close, not a net. Bless said muted loop. No, not a net. Think about a bird and eggs. What is that? Nest. There we go. We call it nested loops. There we go, Ndovo and Tembakazi, nested loop. There we go. We call them nested loops. If you put one loop within another loop, we call that a nested loop. Okay, so let's run our program. Oh, I've got too many. And I see under Muranwa. Okay, I'm going to try and remember that. If I don't get angry. Sometimes I just see names popping up and I don't always think fast enough to try and remember names. I just read what I see just so that I can get all the answers out. So let's run. Oh, let's look at that. I get distracted again and then I don't change my repeat value. We're only going to repeat. This is the thing, I think in my coding that I do, this is the thing I forget the most, is changing my values in my repeat blocks. Sometimes you'll see the little question marks, or sometimes there are way too many. This is the one step I always forget to do. I start doing something or I start talking to someone and I always forget to change my repeat numbers. And that is where I run into errors in my code most of the time. It's because I don't change the values. Let's run it. And Kia said, me too, sir. Yes, I just drag it in and I just want to assume that the number will be correct. And I just carry on and then I run into problems. Okay, so beautiful. There we go. Isabella said we're gonna repeat 3 times. Okay, here we have a nice puzzle. And if we look at our puzzle, we've got 1 here, we've got an unknown value here, and we've got 3 value down here. So with steps, I know by now, because we've been coding for a while, we're normally going to have a repeated pattern. But let's just get the first step down. So let's quickly look at our instructions. It says flatten all these piles using as few blocks as possible. And we can see that they've given us a value of 10. So we'll probably only use 10. And we've already used 1. If you see that there's a 1, it is always this when run block. That is always going to add to your count. So let's quickly look in our toolbox to see what we have. We have our move forward, turn blocks, remove and fill. And then we have our 3 loops, repeat a number of times, while path ahead, and while there is a pile. Remember, this is just one block because you can actually have to drop down. And there we see while there is a pile, while there is a hole, and while there is a path ahead. And Muranwa said the pile with a question mark is 2. I'm going to show quickly, if I run, mine will be different. It's not always the same. So let's run. See, mine is just 1. And if I reset and I run again, now it's 4. So that's what's nice about Codeorg. It is, you need to write a code. So if I wrote the code and I only removed it 2 times, then it wouldn't have worked. So that is what's nice. There's always a variable in there that can change. Okay, so it's not a constant. So our code would need to accommodate those kinds of variables. So if it changes, our code still needs to work. Okay, so whether it's 1, 4, let's reset it one more time. There I've only got 1, 2. So you can see every time I go into it, there's a different value. So that's why it is important for us to write no matter what. And that is, so our code can get solved. And that is why we use these while loops. Because there is a condition. And as long as that condition is true, there's a pile. My little farmer will work until it is gone. So while there is a pile, remove it. Or while there is a hole, fill it. So even if it's 20, my farmer will stay there and fill until the count is 0, until that statement or that condition is no longer true. Okay, so here we are going to use, it's also with this while path ahead. So as long as there's a path for her to walk, she will walk forward, or she will move forward. That's why we put that inside. So as long as there's a path, she will move forward. So we don't have to put 2 move blocks here, 2 move blocks here. 1 move block while there is a path, move forward. So, and you can test that, run it, and then you'll see she's searching. There we go. While there's a path, there we go. Once we get to that point, we know that we are going to remove our pile. And now remember, the values are different in each position. So here we have only 1 now. This one we know can change to anything. And then we have 3 up here. So we won't just use the remove. We will use the while there is a pile, remove. And we can test it again. Run, test. Okay, so that works perfectly. And then we can see, and I see Kia gave me a whole code. And Matemba said turn left. Yes, I am going to turn left. And I see, let's quickly look at Kia's while path ahead. Move and then remove, then turn right. There we just have to focus nicely. Kia, we are going to turn left and not right. Move forward. There are so many coming in. And Kia said, I meant left, sorry. Okay, no problem. Wow, there are so many things coming in. Let me just quickly go back. I can't see what Kia wrote anymore. Turn left. And then move forward. Okay, so guys, yes. So now we just need to get to this point over here. If we can get to that point and face this direction, we can see that we are in the same position, looking in the same direction up here for our next step. And then we're just going to have a repeat. So yes, I'm not sure who Galaxy 20 is. I don't think I've seen a name yet. So also says left. So then we are going to while path ahead, move forward. And then once we get up here, let's run that just so we can follow to where we are. And then we get to that point. We just have to remember one more thing. Before we use the repeat, we have to face in the same direction. So we have to go back to turn right so we can face in the, because look, if we start here, she is facing to the right. And if we run it, now once we get up there, she also faces the right because we've turned her to the right. There we go. Perfect. So now we know that we can just repeat our code 1, 2, 3 times. Because remember, if we don't put in this turn right, she's going to try, our next step is if we repeat, what is going to be her next step? While path ahead, do move forward. So then she's going to be stuck there. And then once she gets to this left, she's going, I'm going to do that quickly. And we can just see where we can pick up our problems. I'm going to take out that turn right, reset. You'll see as soon as she tries to repeat, she's going to try and do it right in that corner. And only with the turn left is going to be her next step. So let's quickly run and see what happens. And I see Triasher. There we go. Using my mum's phone. Now look at that. She's trying, and there's it left. She can't do anything. Then she's going to turn left, and then she's going to move forward. There we go. And then, unfortunately, she gets stuck in a loop. And she's going to, because there's nothing for her to do, and then she's going to keep turning left until our repeats are done. And look at that. I didn't change my repeat again. 3, not 5. So we just have to make sure to put this right. So she turns first, and then we can do the repeat. Let's quickly check. There we go. That's once. There's our second repeat. And then our third repeat. She'll move up, finish the code, turn right. There we go. Perfect. But Jocelyn, that's exactly what I mean. If you didn't have the turn, you would have noticed, okay, there is something wrong, and then you run through it. If you can't find it, run through it step by step, and then you just fix it. And it's an easy fix because we can just drag it in and drop it down. Okay, guys, so we have this question and one more puzzle left, and I see we also don't have that much time. So remember, look at the code below. What will, and I want you guys to answer A, B, C, and if you don't know D, what will be left at the end of the puzzle? Our code is repeat 3 times, while path ahead, move forward, okay, and then while there's a hole, fill, and turn right. So nothing. The code will leave only level ground. This code will leave a pile completely untouched. The code will leave the holes completely untouched. The code will leave a pile. Yes, if we look here, while there is a hole, there is nothing about taking away the pile. So yes, repeat 3 times. The pile will stay there. And Kia said B. There we go. Yes, it will leave the pile untouched. Now, if we wanted our farmer, I think that will be on our next bonus puzzle. We will have holes and we will have piles. So we will have to write a code for our farmer to remove all holes and fill all, listen to me. Remove all piles and fill all holes. There we go. Well done. Jocelyn also said B. So now we can quickly look at, I'm going to do this bonus puzzle, the extra, because that's quite a nice one. And I'm going to go into it, and I'm just going to share the link because I've heard some people say that they don't get the extra, but I'm going to share the link just for in case you don't get it. You can just click on the link and it will take you there. There we go, extras. Now, if we look at this one quickly, we see here we have a pile. Here we have a hole, a pile, a hole, and a hole, and they are all question marks. Okay, so we have all the question marks, and we have holes and piles. So what are we going to do? Remember, we just do line for line up here, and we've noticed now, and look at this, inside our toolbox, we only have 2 move forwards, 2 move backwards, but we are sneaky and we can change that to forward. Remember, you can use your drop down blocks, and Jocelyn said she did get it, so I'm glad that some of you get it. 1 remove, 1 fill. Okay, so what will be our first step? Who can quickly tell me what will be our first step over here? While block, there we go. While path ahead. What are we going to do? we are going to move forward. Okay, but is that what we are going to use? While there is a path ahead, move forward. Okay, Kia says yes. So what are we going to do next? Yes, we can turn first, or we can remove the pile. So that's not a problem. So we can move, we can turn first, or we can remove the pile. So let's quickly do that. Turn, we're going to turn right. And then while there is a pile, I'll just change it here. While there is a pile, we are going to remove. Yes, it doesn't matter, Kia, whether it's turn first or remove first. It's not going to make much difference. It's okay, we can put that at the bottom. So we can run that just to see if it works. Nice and fast. But look at that, what happens there? While there is a path ahead, we run straight past. We run straight past that. So what are we going to do? Repeat, but then we're just going to run in, because now we've gone too far. We need to come down. We need to come down, guys. So what I want you to focus on, because look at this, you've run straight past the pile because there is a path. This is what I wanted you guys to have a look at. And I think, because I see we only have 3 minutes, you guys are going to have to solve this for me. I've done it, so I know what the problem is. Just see, because now while path, there's one, they've tried to trick you over here. They put a block past where you need to turn. Every time you're going to run past. So I want you guys to try and solve this one, because now I don't know what I'm going to do to make this a nice challenge, because I would have said if we were in the classroom, anybody that could solve this puzzle, I'll give a chocolate to, but now I don't see you guys, so I don't know what, unless I give you a digital chocolate. I'll put a picture on the screen and I'll put your name on it and say, okay, there's a digital chocolate for you. I want to see how many of you can solve this puzzle. Think about it, because guys, if we use the wild path, you're going to run past. So you either have to decide, find a way to stop right here, or you have to run past, move back, and come down. So I want you to figure it out for me. And Michael, yes, if you want a digital chocolate, solve the puzzle for me and I'll put your name on it and I'll post it for everybody to see. Okay, it is a little tricky. So think about it, guys, but I'm sure you guys can solve it. So here's my email address. And I've given you guys some clues now how to solve it. And I will even give you a digital chocolate if you use more blocks than what they want you to use. And remember, guys, look at here. What can you use? There's a little light bulb. Use your tips. See if you can solve this puzzle. There's my email address. And let's quickly go back to my slideshow. You'll have to use your imagination, Kia. It can taste like anything. So if you want your digital chocolate to taste like an apple, just imagine the taste. Okay, so there we go. There's a nice quote from Steve Jobs. Everyone should know how to program a computer because it teaches us how to think. Okay, Ndova, I would have loved to give you guys a real chocolate, but unfortunately, it's not possible. Send me your answers. Remember, once you've completed it, take a screenshot, take a picture, and email it to me, and then you will have bragging rights that you were able to solve that tricky puzzle. Then I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye-bye, guys. Have fun today.